Hello children, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. Now today in this video I am going to explain you chemistry in your life, or also you can say chemistry in your day-to-day life. Children, as we look around, we observe that all our day-to-day needs is having the chemicals. Okay, starting from your toothpaste, as you got up in the morning and you used to brush your teeth. Okay, that is a kind of chemical. Along with that, when you are going to have bath and then washing your hair with a good shampoo and all, these all are related to the chemistry or the chemical compounds. Similarly, the utensils and the glassware in the kitchen and the food substances, whatever you are using, they all are the chemical compounds. Okay, it's like curd, cheese, common salt, or baking soda, baking powder. Nowadays, you people are making so many cakes, different kinds of cakes. So there you are using ENO also. So these all are the chemical compounds. Apart from that, alcohol and wines, they are also, and the building materials, they are also made up of chemical compounds. As you see in the picture, there are so many different kinds of cleaning items here. They all are having the different kinds of chemicals which are responsible or which are very much helpful for the cleaning purpose. Okay, so that also you can see that it is a chemical compound. So altogether I want to say that the chemistry deals with the basic products that you use in your day-to-day life. So these products are all made up of chemical reactions, and when you are cooking the food, there also the chemical reactions are going on in between the different substances. As you see, you are mixing so many different kinds of substances while cooking. Okay, similarly, when you are washing hair, when you are making buildings, when the erasing pencil work, that also is a kind of chemical reactions. Even on which you are writing, that is also a product of chemicals. Okay, similarly, when you are using the pen, the ink what is there, that is also a chemical. Then perfume is there. Okay, and the glasswares. Okay, and also for washing clothes. Okay, and to absorb sweat also, and the tissue papers and the medicines, whatever you are having, these all are the chemical compounds. So children, all I want to say that we see that most of the needs are fulfilled by the chemical compounds. So it is very important to study about the different kinds of chemical compounds through the branch of science called the chemistry. Now these products are not simple. You can say the discoveries were not done. Very simple experiment has been done, and no, there is behind all these things, there is the contribution of scientists. Okay, so one by one we will study about the three main scientists here, those who have given their lots of contribution in the chemistry. So the first scientist here is given. He is Louis Pasteur, and he was born on 27th December 1822 and died on 28th September 1895. And he was a French scientist. Okay, and he is known for the discovery of processes called the pasteurization, fermentation process, and also he has discovered vaccines for rabies and the anthrax. Another name was given by the others, that was germ hunter. Okay, he is also known as a germ hunter because he has done lots of work on the microorganisms, their functioning. Okay, because you see that this fermentation process, pasteurization process, these all require the microbial functions. So basically his contribution has been given in the microbiology. Okay. So here you can see the pasteurization process. So Louis Pasteur's research demonstrated that harmful microbes in the milk and the wine cause sickness. So he invented the process called the pasteurization. So to prevent the milk and alcohol beverages from getting spoiled, he has discovered the process called the pasteurization. What is done in pasteurization? Pasteurization is a 100-year-old process, and that is used to destroy pathogens through simple heating and is best known for its role in making the milk and the juices safe for the consumption. So that's why they are easily preserved. Okay, so here in this process what is done, the specific temperature will be there and for a specified time. Okay, they will be kept for the heating purpose. Okay, and whatever the microorganisms will be present in that, they will die and then they will increase its keeping qualities. That means it can be preserved. Okay, another scientist here in your book, it is given there, Henry Cavendish. Okay, so Henry Cavendish was a British natural philosopher and scientist who was both a chemist and a physicist. Okay, so he dealt with the chemistry and the physics both. Okay, so he is known for the discovery of hydrogen. Okay, and what he is called inflammable air. So hydrogen was discovered in 1766 by Henry Cavendish. Hydrogen can be artificially produced when iron and dilute acids are mixed together. Okay, when they are mixed together, then so this Henry Cavendish was known as a discoverer of hydrogen. So children, here you can say see how was it discovered, how was hydrogen discovered. Henry Cavendish discovered hydrogen as an element in 1766. Cavendish ran an experiment using zinc and hydrochloric acid. Okay, so he discovered hydrogen and also found that it produced water when it is burned. Okay, so these two contribution was there. That is, first thing, he has discovered hydrogen and then he even proved that the water is formed when the gas hydrogen is burned into the air. Okay, then from where the this hydrogen word came? The name hydrogen comes from the Greek word hydro, means water, and genes means creator. So obviously, as I have told you here, that whenever hydrogen is burned, then water is produced. So it was named by the French chemist Antoine Lavoisier, because when it burns, it creates water. Now children, what is the use of hydrogen? In the early years, that hydrogen, as you all know, that it is the lightest gas. Okay, so in early years it was used as a weather forecasting balloons. Okay, but now hydrogen gas is replaced with the helium. Why? Because these balloons were the cause of the airship disasters, okay, in the 1930s. Okay, why? Because what happens, hydrogen gas balloons can burst very easily. Okay, burst into flames and forming the explosive mixture with the oxygen. Okay, so wherever they are getting the oxygen and the suitable temperature, they will start bursting. Okay, so then it was replaced by the helium gas, and since you know helium gas is the inert gas, it does not do reaction with any other gas. Okay, so that's why it is very safe one. Now children, the third scientist is the Daniel Rutherford. Okay, Daniel Rutherford has discovered the nitrogen gas. Okay, so this Daniel Rutherford was a Scottish chemist, and during his experiment Rutherford extracted oxygen and carbon dioxide from the air. Okay, that means he has taken out oxygen and carbon dioxide from the air. Then what he did, he put a living mouse and a lit candle into the container. Both died almost immediately. Why is it so? Because the oxygen was not there. Okay, and any other gas which was present inside the air, that also does not support it. Okay, so with that Rutherford published his findings and is now credited for discovering the element called the nitrogen. So always remember this, nitrogen was discovered by the Daniel Rutherford in 1772. Now children, this nitrogen gas is present in so much amount in the atmosphere, as you all know, and also studied in 5th standard, that the air composition, there you will find that nearly 2/3 is the nitrogen. Okay, and this nitrogen is very much helpful for the plants. Okay, and also it is used to slow down the rate of respiration and also the rate of combustion. That means it controls the burning process. Why? Because you see that the oxygen is present into the air, and when something is burning, the oxygen is helping it, and when you cut off the supply of oxygen, immediately the fire get extinguished. So how is it possible? Because the nitrogen is there, it will not allow the burning process to move forward. Okay, otherwise what will happen? The whole area or whole surrounding will get burned very easily within very less time. Okay, so here it provides a extreme low temperature and is therefore used for the also it is very much helpful for storing cornea of the eye, and also in the blood in the laboratory. Okay, that is the nitrogen. Nitrogen gives a very you can say low temperature. Also you can see that the chips what you are purchasing from the shops, there you will find it is the swollen one. Okay, inside they keep the chips, and other portion they are having the air inside. What is that air? That is the nitrogen. Nitrogen is filled into the packet, and since you see it does not react very easily, so what is done, they prevent the oxidation process and keep the chips very much fresh and crispy. Okay, and here you can see that almost all kinds of wafers or almost all kinds of this materials, they are having the filling of the nitrogen gas. Okay, so keep these things fresh for longer time. Okay, and sometimes it's a joke also that they are selling the nitrogen or they are selling the chips, because nowadays you will find that chips are present in very less amount inside the packets. Okay, so sometimes we feel like whether they are selling the nitrogen gas or the chips. Another thing what you are seeing here, it is the raspberry. Okay, and this is called the process called the flash freezing. Okay, flash freezing is also done by the help of the nitrogen gas. And what is this process? That flash freezing is a process in various industries whereby food items are frozen in a very small time by subjecting them to the temperature or in the direct contact with the liquid nitrogen, and this liquid nitrogen is of minus 196 degree Celsius. So within less time they are freezed very faster, so that's why it is called a flash freezing. Okay, and basically it is used in the food industries for quick freezing purpose. Which kind of things are frozen? They are the perishable items. Perishable items mean which get spoiled very easily with the action of the microorganisms. Okay, especially the organic materials, or especially you can see the meat is there, they are exported, so first they are given to the they are treated for the flash freezing. Okay, so these are the non-perishable items which are given the flash freezing. So students, hope you all have understood the topics. If you have any doubt or question, you can ask in the comment section below, and the remaining topics will be covered in the next videos. Please like, share it with your classmates, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you can get my latest updates. Thank you.